it is Neo here. We're gonna watch your VOD here. I actually think I've watched the whole thing, and we're doing pretty okay. There's, I think our positioning is probably our biggest thing right now, and I just want us to be a little bit further back than the way we're playing.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Objective unlocks in 30 seconds.
It's fine, I like this. Our team's really running like a dive comp. Our other healer is a mercy. So our healing is going to be a little bit low, but our damage output is going to be really, really high. It's okay. We want to try and look for a Discord. We know they have a Bastion. Yeah, like right here. I want us to have a little bit of a safer angle. So that means I want us to try and just play LOS more. Or not LOS, but natural cover more is what what I want. So we kind of can. Our tank is a ball, which means that, and he died, which means that we don't have a lot of resources to hold space, especially when we're against a Sigma. That means that they're going to have a lot easier time trying to poke us down slowly, and our ball isn't going to be able to provide that kind of defensive abilities for us. Our ball's main goal is to kind of go in and distract. So our main thing we can do is try and output a bunch of damage, especially on Zenyatta. So I like trying to look for a Discord orb, but the second our ball dies, we're going to lose a lot of space very quickly. So I kind of want us, I liked where you were initially, kind of like back here, and just charging up, and you can kind of get in a rhythm of like peek shoot. And I can show this in a training room, in the training range, just to be a little bit more specific with it. But just kind of getting in a rhythm of just like hide, shoot. Or I don't even mind what we're doing right now, just be kind of weary that hiding behind this barrier can be very good, but hiding behind this wall is a little bit better, because if they start to push us too quickly and we're behind like this barrier, or we're using this barrier for LOS, they kind of have two ways to peek at us. They can peek at us from this angle, or while we're trying to cross, they can also try and peek at us from this angle. So I kind of like this wall, because if we decide we want to disengage, they don't get that second opportunity to shoot at us, we can just leave. And honestly, since our ball is dead, this engagement is going to be really, really hard. There we go. Be also a little bit cautious of like standing still. So we're gonna watch that again in a sec, but this is when I really want you to get kind of used to, like, you can either charge, peek, volley, and then unpeek, or just kind of get in that rhythm of like peek, shoot, peek, shoot, peek, shoot. Yeah, you almost had the rhythm right there. We're gonna go back a little second. It's like a little bit like this, but even tighter if we can. And now we really need to back up. Yeah. The Sigma, as soon as we see him like start pushing toward us, this gets a lot better in his effective range. So we just need to start backing up as much as possible. Our Mercy should have helped us there too, but that's kind of on us for being so far forward. This is fine. I really appreciate, and I feel this the whole game, how quickly you Discord. Like, you got that out really quickly, and it's almost like it's like animation canceling. You do it very well, like the entire game. Nice try. And then keep charging orbs here. We want to kind of increase our uptime with that. So Kobe's kind of phrased it the best, and I really like this rule, and it's, when do we left click and when do we right click on Zenyatta? If they are on your screen, it is better to left click. If they are not on your screen yet, it is better to right click and volley. Luckily your team's gonna win this engagement, because everyone's kind of just gotten picks. Be a little cautious of reloading when you're going into engagement. We still had 14 orbs, and because we kind of choose to reload here, we lose some like uptime when we could try and just Discord him and shoot the rest of our 14 and then only reload when we have to. So really think about reloading in between engagements rather than during them. Also try and get the Mercy here. So I see what you're thinking about the bot, but I think the real call here is try and help our tracer with the flank and try and meet them up on this side, because there is a lot of front pressure that even you were just providing from this angle. So when you start coming from this angle, now you can shoot them from back here and it's a little bit more free. I don't think it's the bot is as much our job on this. It kind of is because of the comp, or the Zen is probably the best person to push the bot, but we want to clean up this engagement first. So like, yeah, trying to meet them from this end. And if you are also going to disengage, make sure you try and keep the Discord on them. So now I kind of want us to back up because we are, if I'm correct, yeah, we're completely in the front line right now. And Zen is very like good with this comp. We just need to be cautious of playing further back. So as soon as our team's kind of here, we can try and like play over here-ish. I'm trying to point out positions where we have like either outs or natural cover. So that's why I'm like, oh, if we shoot here, this is pretty easy, and if we feel like we're getting too pressured, we can kind of just hide over here.
Your team is close to taking.
Yeah, and this, you could charge behind the wall and then just peek out, because we're not necessarily shooting at a target. So if you're... Zen is a lot like Hanzo in the sense that having good crosshair placement and luck gets you very, very far. And your crosshair placement is good, so it's just kind of the second angle of when you're volleying, it's the luck. So just don't be afraid to hide behind the wall, charge your orbs, and then peek really quickly and go out, because in higher elos, you're going to start to get punished for charging out in the open. Nice try. I like playing around that pillar that you were just on. Yeah, this is a dangerous angle. Luckily, we kind of have this barrier to play around. And now that this fight's getting closer, we need to start falling backwards. Just a little bit further back. Because now we're in the effective range of the Sigma, versus if we were, like, further back here. If we were further back here, it's going to be much harder for the Sig to hit us. We could still be shooting like at this Torb, or if we were even playing this angle, we could try and get shots on that Ana from here, or we could be doing almost the same thing that we're doing, just a little bit further back.
Chaos.
This is a fine trance. I just don't think we necessarily... If we were playing a little bit further back, we could have gotten away with maybe not having to trance. This is fine. Push him extra hard. Yep. Our Mercy's died. We're the only healer in this engagement. This is all fine though. I think right about now we're going to need to reposition, because our ball is also on the point with us, and this is going to be... This high ground is very free for them to start shooting at us. So since the ball is pushing in the corner, we can kind of take two different angles here. And we're the only healer alive right now, so we could try and rotate a little bit this way so we can get free shots up here. Or we could just keep rotating a little bit further back to see if anybody tries to push this. But I would just be weary about peeking this high ground, because even if we're just like over here-ish, this is still a good spot for us to challenge if anybody peeks stairs, which I'm kind of biased because I see the junk is about to. Or I think actually like right here is probably the best spot, so that way if we have to take this fight without our Mercy, we are in a safer position. I'm really curious what your sensitivity is, because I feel like sometimes it takes you a long time to turn around. Like, specifically... That's fine, he'll figure it out. But like here, this is a very slow turn, which makes me think your sense is very low. And there's been a few times where I've seen you have to like turn and then turn again really quickly. And it makes me think that maybe your sensitivity is too low for the mouse space that you have. I'm not like the best to make those kinds of decisions, but I just feel like your sense maybe like it looks to me like your sense is very low, and it's making it harder for you to rotate in terms of like actually turning around. Yeah, this is rough. This is honestly kind of this engagement was lost when your Mercy died, really. But just be yeah, that's why I was kind of like in this angle we could maybe try and get out, because our number one thing is supports. And I'm definitely quoting Kobe here, is to survive. So if we try and just like leave this way when we feel like this engagement is in a rougher spot, we'll be able to re-engage later. Or if somebody chooses to push you, it's probably going to be one person. We can win a 1v1. Or if we lose, we're in the same spot we are now. Yeah, that point, honestly, that second point, as soon as you cap, it's very, very hard positioning-wise, and it's even rougher when our Mercy dies early in the fight. So, this is fine. I like this. This is when I'm... Be cautious. This especially. Charge when they can't see you, and then release when they can. So, keep charging right here-ish, to the left a little bit more, and then just peek and release. It'll take some time for you to get the timing right, but we were standing still in the open for a little bit, so you just gotta be a little wary about that. And now we need to fall back. Orisa especially is going to be like, it's very hard for us to kill because we want to get that headshot damage in, and that Fortify is very strong against us. So we just need to be a little bit further back. Ideally, if we can be all the way up here, this is like, honestly, probably all the way up here. This is a very good engagement angle for us, but that means that after we peaked from here and we saw them pushing really hard, we'd have to start falling back a lot in order to get up here. So realistically, we'd probably be about right here. But ideal position for us is probably up here. Discord, it's on tour, but it's fine. I've also had a really good, gotten a great Zen tip from somebody else lately, and it's make sure you Discord the person you are shooting. So even though it was on the Torb and that was still providing good value, having it on the Orisa could have also been very good. But like I said, especially even if you're watching this back, you're quite good at making sure that your orbs are on people at all times, which that's very, very good. That's really increasing your uptime. So this is going to be a hard engagement for us. They have high ground advantage on this point. They kind of have good angles to hit us from. I really want us rotating if we can to that back point again. It's going to be hard for us to get there, but it's just... We could also play even further back still around like where the crosswalk is. Yeah, this is like just a rough positioning. So, from the whole team, not you. So it's kind of like right here, this engagement's going to be hard. I wouldn't be terrified of taking kind of like pushing right here and then falling back if they push you earlier. And then, like I said, it's going to be hard for us to get to this angle because of how much crossing and the high ground stuff we get. But this point is really, really hard to attack again, in all honesty. So it's just, you got to be wary of this high ground. Especially because this right here is very, very advantageous for them. Shooting you from this angle or being able to shoot you from this angle, it's very strong. So we can kind of try and counteract that. But like I said, if you put pressure here, that forces them to, if you do it early, then they are not able to take this space because you pressured them before they could get there. Or if you kind of have the foresight, you can go through this way. I think that's a little unrealistic in all honesty because it's going to decrease your uptime by a lot. But yeah, so even just as the fight's engaging, trying to play like right down here because that way they can't shoot at you from the high ground. If we're in this room, this could also be okay, but it's a little scary against a Junkrat. So that way we can get our orbs out and then it's going to just be harder for them to push us. Yeah. I don't mind it. It just sucks that they kind of forced it out because of where we were, the trans.
does not always lie in victory.
Just have an escape plan in this. I know it's like, I know it's just like, oh, we're just walking back from spawn, but kind of have an escape plan because we know we've lost this fight. So they're going to be turning around this corner any second. And let's say they have like a Hanzo. This isn't that hard of a shot for him to hit you. So if we're just playing a little bit closer to these walls, and then if we see them, we can hide. And then it's like we can pick our engagements at that time. I kind of want us backing up here because it's just our ball with us. Yeah, this is much better. But this is what I mean, like have kind of an escape plan because we could hit a lot of these shots either from like being in this pocket to the right that we were or the pocket on the left even further back. I don't mind this like playing a little bit closer to the right here because we can get both of our orbs up on this time, but yeah. Just, I feel like we're playing in the middle of a lane a lot versus a long natural cover. And especially when your tank is like, let's say a ball or a hog or a diva, somebody who can't like mitigate as much damage. Diva's less so than the other two, but it's much more pertinent for you to try and play around natural cover. Yeah, and like right here, this is going to be a rough... I just want to staying on a little bit further from the back of the bot. Because one thing good about this barrier is this is also natural cover. But just kind of playing this angle because we can hear how close the Orisa is. And then we can kind of peek from here and then unpeek again. And then as this bot turns this corner, we can just be a little bit further back. It's just small things like this where it's going to be much harder for them. Nice. I like the decision making there. Very cautious about standing still. If we're charging a volley, just try and do it behind cover and then peek again. Because we're just spamming, which is perfect. That's absolutely fine. But if we're gonna do that, then we need to be behind cover as it's charging, just to make ourselves safer. And we need to be further back here. I also want us thinking about where our transcendences end. When we used it earlier the first time as well. Where is that? Yeah, it's like right around here-ish. I want us to be cautious about where it's gonna end. So in this position, I know it's like you kind of want to help your two teammates that are up here, but the reality is Tracer and Ball are just so much more mobile than you. This is kind of a good opportunity for you to try and like get out of the range of this Sigma. So especially when it hits about 2 seconds, you want to think about, oh, where do I want to be? And then let's go back to where we are now. Did I go too far? I don't think so. I think you were like, this was further. Maybe I went too far. I always think about these games where I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, this game's like almost over, and then I look at the clock and it's like 3 minutes left. Yeah, I was right about here. Yeah, I like your crosshair placement generally, so it's just kind of getting that weaving in. So right after he dies, I already think about like, oh, I want to be further back than this. So after the soldier dies, I don't know if you knew the Mercy was going to res. That's kind of good that we were still here for that, but I want us like, I honestly want us all the way back here. We don't have any damage fall off, so that means that like everything that we're doing, we can kind of do from all the way back here.
Approaching the final.
This is winnable.
my prayer.
Yeah, again, this is something where I want us to be weary about playing in the middle of lanes. I don't mind this now. But I just think you're gonna start, if you start climbing, that you're gonna start getting punished for these little things. And like here as well. Like just playing around this pillar could be very strong, but in all honesty, like I said, we don't have any damage fall off. If we play all the way back here, this also gives us an escape route. Or if we keep playing over here, this is honestly a better escape route. Whew, that was close. He's just absolutely banditing. Oh, just being a bandit with the bot, getting away with it. This is scary. I feel like we're taking a lot of engagements against this Orisa. This is fine. I don't think she fully followed you. Yeah, don't be afraid. This is like such a stickler thing, but it's something that I've really like thought about more as I've started to climb. Don't be afraid to use your full clip. You don't necessarily need to reload in these times, and we know the Orisa's chasing us, so we can just use these extra 10 bullets and reload when we absolutely have to. Discord out. I would just, yeah, good call, honestly. Be careful of our Mercy, yeah. And then Transcendings, but they're dead, so it doesn't matter.
We will unify our push with yours.
60 seconds remaining.
Get a charge of volley here. We need to build up Trance again.
Approaching final destination.
So often, even in the middle of fights, sometimes I'll switch. If I'm kiting away from them, this is still a good chance for you to charge a volley. So that way, when you can peek again, like there was a really specific time I was actually thinking about it and I wasn't sure I would mention it, but we're going to. And it's right about, it's right like here. So right here, as we stop peeking, we can charge a volley here and then you could have released it and then we could also get out all this damage again. So it's like really small angles. It's like, oh, I'm rotating. I can just start loading a volley here. And even if it's like 2 or 3, you can still get this extra damage in as we're doing this, maybe on this Ana, and then we can get the spam again. That's a rough one. Oh, okay, Resbull. Yeah, I really want us playing that further back angle though, now, like extra so because they're running Bastion and Reaper. We're definitely gonna get punished for being further up. Yeah. This angle back here is really king on supports who aren't mobile. Right here, it's very, very strong, especially if you get that weaving that I was talking about earlier.
30 seconds remaining.
We hear the Reaper, so I just want to be extra cautious. Our team sees him.
10 seconds remaining.
This is gonna be okay. You can kick him. Yeah, I just want us, as soon as he gets out of this Wraith, you need to re-discord him and kick him. Reaper without Wraith is like priority target number 1. He is so vulnerable.
Ultimate target. Ultimate almost ready. Tactical visor activated.
You start charging up a volley here. Yep. We can also contest from right here. It looks like you already know that. This is very strong. You can just stay up there. Nice. So yeah. I will say it's like Zen is very, very good with this comp, but it's really like a fend for yourself comp, so positioning is like extra strong. Having good positioning in this comp is like very, very critical. So when I'm talking about weaving, I'm probably a little bit better at Ana with this one, but it's kind of like in out kind of thing like this. Rip aim. I haven't played a game today. But anyway, and then we can charge completely. You can even do a little peek to like see what's up and then just load it and go. Kind of like that. So you want to really get used to like peek and then behind cover again. But a lot of the times if it's like further like this, you can just load a volley and then go back behind him. But yeah. That's something I really want you to work on, and then that will also teach you to hug natural cover a bit more, which I think will help you a lot. So I really do think your orbs in terms of like Discord and Harmony are like generally pretty good. So I just want you hugging walls a little bit more and then playing a little bit further back than you think. Like kind of think where the previous fight took place, and especially on push maps, and you can probably position there and be okay, because you can really, really capitalize on the fact that you do not have damage fall off. And then if like the enemy is running like a dive tank, we have snap kick to kick them away, which I feel like you generally remember as well. So anyway, goodbye. Thanks.